experience, you know, at the highest level and competing at the highest level. And that makes this that much more interesting. But like I said before, there's no blueprint on how to beat Floyd Mayweather, and he can tell you that himself.
He's older than me. I'm still young, so and I'm always active with this sport. So what I have done and accomplished in boxing, I think it's one of a kind, because to get a 8 different weight division is not that easy. I'm just saying this to repeat, you might forget that accomplishment. So to be the greatest boxer in the world is to know how to of course be compassionate and to show the people that you're really a fighter.
Well, you know, everybody, we all live our lives the way we want to live our lives. You know, everyone in this room have family, have friends, but when it comes to this, when it comes to boxing and competing and being the best, I'm not here to talk about what you did on the outside. I'm not here to talk about what nobody else did on the outside. I'm not here to talk about your personal life.
The air is starting to feel different again, because the blockbuster rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao isn't just talk anymore, it's building real momentum. Years after their first collision shook the world and generated a staggering $600 million in a mega fight that redefined boxing history, the whispers are growing louder, the stakes are rising higher, and the tension feels unfinished. This isn't just about money, it's about legacy, pride, and a rivalry that never truly settled. But the real question is, if history already made them legends, why risk it all again?
You know what's going on inside that square circle? I'm the best. No matter how you rate it, no matter how you cut it, no matter how you slice it, no matter if you go to 100 years back, 300 years back, all the way to now, there's only one best, and that's Floyd Mayweather.
Now, Pacquiao says the timing finally feels right for a rematch with Floyd Mayweather, not out of nostalgia, not for headlines, but because the moment itself seems to be calling them back. He points out that Mayweather is preparing to step out of retirement once again, lacing up his gloves like the story was never finished, while he himself feels sharper, stronger, and in serious condition to make it count. This isn't the voice of a man chasing the past. It's the tone of a fighter who believes the window has reopened for one last statement. But here's what makes it interesting. When legends convince themselves the time is perfect, is it destiny, or is it the calm before something unexpected?
Why is now, 11 years after the first fight, why is now the right time for this rematch?
It just happened that I'm still active in boxing, and he come out from retirement, so and he decided to do it again. So this is it. Like I'm so excited for.
Netflix has officially confirmed the blockbuster fight between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao for September 19th, 2026, and just like that, the silence around this rivalry has shattered. The announcement didn't just trend, it sent a shockwave through the boxing world, reigniting debates, memories, and unfinished arguments from their first encounter. Fans aren't just excited, they're bracing themselves, already anticipating a performance that could rewrite records and redefine legacies one more time. Because this isn't simply another fight night, it feels like a final chapter being unlocked. But here's the twist. When expectations rise this high, history doesn't just repeat itself, it explodes.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao will rematch coming up this year, September 19th, in Las Vegas at the Sphere. 11 years after their first fight in May of 2015, that still holds the record for the biggest pay-per-view of all time in the world of boxing and the biggest gate ever for a boxing event. But the platform is not Showtime Boxing, not Paramount Plus, not DAZN. The platform will be Netflix.
Their first encounter in 2015 wasn't just a fight, it was a global event that stopped time. Widely regarded as the biggest showdown in boxing history, it didn't simply break pay-per-view and revenue records, it shattered them, pulling in massive worldwide attention as Floyd Mayweather defeated Manny Pacquiao under the blinding lights of Las Vegas. But what made that night unforgettable wasn't just the result, it was the atmosphere, the anticipation, the feeling that the entire sports universe had narrowed down to a single ring. It became more than boxing, it turned into a cultural spectacle that spilled into mainstream entertainment, talk shows, headlines, and living rooms across the planet. Yet here's the part people don't say out loud. When a moment becomes that historic, it doesn't fade, it waits for a sequel.
Fight comes 11 years after their first fight in 2015, which, like I mentioned, is still the biggest pay-per-view to date in the world of boxing. The most pay-per-view buys, followed by Mayweather versus McGregor, as well as the biggest gate. And honestly, that first fight, I was there in person. I lived it. I followed Manny around pretty much the whole entire camp. The buzz and the buildup for it has still been unmatched. Even that fight week, the buzz and the buildup is still unmatched. Like, the amount of press members that went to cover that fight that week, usually they set up a press room, and that press room was freaking packed the first day we got there, which was on a Tuesday. Still, I've been to hundreds and hundreds of fights, the biggest fights, and I've been doing this for a long time now. That's still the amount of attention, the amount of buzz has yet to be matched. In case you needed to be reminded, Manny and Floyd fought back in May of 2015 in what was literally, and this word gets used over and over again, fight of the century. All these other fights that have happened since this Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, and they try to label themselves fight of the century, it's all cap. It doesn't matter. This literally, Mayweather and Pacquiao, the first fight, was the fight of the century. I got photos, I got videos, I got texts from people in San Diego, in other cities, waiting outside of bars. They were outside in the streets, huddled together, trying to watch the fight, not even in the bars, in the establishments. So that tells you how big that fight was back in 20.
Pacquiao says the first fight with Floyd wasn't a loss. It was a lesson carved in real time under the brightest lights. He admits he learned more that night than people realize, and this time, he believes that experience could be the difference between repeating history and rewriting it. According to him, both fighters have evolved, not just in skill but in mindset, more mature, more aware, carrying fewer distractions and clearer focus. He doesn't want old excuses, old controversies, or lingering doubts to shadow the rematch. He wants clarity, preparation, and a fair shot at redemption. And that's what makes this dangerous, because when a fighter steps back into the ring not chasing revenge, but armed with reflection, the outcome becomes unpredictable. So the real question isn't whether he learned, it's whether those lessons are powerful enough to change destiny this time.
It's going to be a first-of-its-kind event. The last time you and Mayweather stepped into a ring, it was 2015, over a decade ago. Is there anything you can learn from that fight heading into September's bout?
Oh yeah, I learned a lot on that fight. Way back 2015, I think we become mature right now and how to handle it, and I hope that it will not happen again the way it is last 2015. It's the experience is not really 100%, but I'm hoping for this time around no more excuses, especially to my condition and also for everything. I'm so excited and ready to the fight.
Pacman Pacquiao has openly admitted that when he stepped into that 2015 clash with Floyd Mayweather, he wasn't truly whole, not physically, not completely. Behind the bright lights and roaring crowd, there was a right shoulder injury he had suffered in training, quietly restricting him, limiting the snap and freedom of the punches that once overwhelmed opponents. He fought through it, carrying that burden without excuses in the moment, but now he's revealing how much it really cost him inside the ring. Imagine knowing you're in the biggest fight of your life, yet unable to unleash your full power. That changes everything, doesn't it? Because if he was never at 100% back then, the real mystery is this: what happens if this time, he finally is?
You mentioned not being 100% the first time around. I think it was a shoulder, right? Was it a shoulder issue that you were fighting through? Popped up during training. To the fans who are excited about this, but a little bit worried about another injury coming up, because we're all 11 years older than we were back in 2015. To them and their concerns, you say what?
Well, both of us are disciplined fighters, so him and me, we taking care of our body, and we always work out almost every day and playing basketball like that. So Right now, I still can fight. Like I feel like I'm still young. I mean, nothing.
Floyd Mayweather has already stepped back into serious ring training, quietly signaling that his 9-year retirement may finally be coming to an end as he prepares to compete again this year. The sound of gloves hitting pads, the rhythm of footwork echoing through the gym, it's no longer speculation, it's action. He's been working out intensely, sharpening reflexes that once made him untouchable, and even sharing training footage that feels less like nostalgia and more like a warning. This isn't a casual comeback tour. It looks calculated, deliberate, almost unfinished. And when a fighter who built his legacy on perfection starts moving like this again, you have to wonder, is he returning to prove a point, or to protect one?
Watch it. I step back like I have my distance. That's why I step. See, I have my distance. Fighters don't know their distance. You gotta know your distance. Cool.
Former world champion Timothy Bradley Jr. didn't hold back when he weighed in on the looming Floyd Mayweather vs. Manny Pacquiao rematch. He said what many were thinking but few dared to say out loud. According to him, Netflix isn't just staging a fight, it's investing in spectacle, paying for premium content that guarantees attention. In his view, this showdown leans more toward money and entertainment value than pure, raw competition. That shifts the narrative, doesn't it? Because if the driving force isn't legacy or unfinished business, but numbers and streaming dominance, then the ring becomes a stage, and the fighters, performers in a global event. But here's the twist. Sometimes when the world expects theater, pride takes over, and that's when things stop being scripted.
Yo, Tim that Storm Bradley, you already know the damn rest. Look, I just got notice that Manny Pacquiao Mayweather about to go back at it in September. So a lot of guys coming out of retirement getting that Netflix money. Netflix is willing to pay for content, man, especially if you're popular. You know, they did Jake Paul. Jake Paul opened his damn door. Gotta give it up for him. He opened his door. And Mike Tyson. They've done other events as well. You know, Katie Taylor and Serrano as well. However, I was thinking De La Hoya was next. De La Hoya, you coming out of retirement? Clap back Thursdays. Nah, bring your ass out of retirement, big dog, for real.
Instead of relying on the traditional pay-per-view model, this time the strategy feels bigger, almost disruptive, because Netflix's global reach and enormous subscription base open the door to massive commercial potential that goes far beyond a single fight night. We're talking subscriptions surging, sponsorship deals multiplying, merchandise flying off shelves, and international exposure on a scale boxing rarely sees. It's not just about who wins in the ring anymore, it's about who dominates the global spotlight. The event is already being touted as one of the biggest sporting nights of the year, a spectacle designed to capture millions at once. And when a fight transforms into a worldwide streaming phenomenon, the stakes shift from punches thrown to empires expanded. So the real question is, are we about to witness history or the birth of a new business blueprint for boxing?
People say the biggest fight in boxing history, you know, if you don't adjust for inflation, et cetera, or tickets sold, et cetera. You know, Joe Louis and Max Schmeling, the rematch, Ali and Frazier, the first fight. These were the biggest fights in boxing history. But Mayweather and Pacquiao was easily the biggest fight of its era, of the generation. And it was the highest grossing fight of all time.
Sure.
Because it had 4.4 million pay-per-view buys at $100 a pop. Do the math, right? It's interesting because Netflix is obviously in the business of, you said, eventizing.
Yes.
Everyone, they want enormous events that become shared experiences. In a way, in this day and age, partly because of delivery systems of content like Netflix, everything is so niche. You know, everything is so compartmentalized that there's very few shared experiences. It's one of the reasons that the NFL is such a big deal, because the NFL can get tens of millions of people to watch the same thing at the same time.
Many fans and commentators can't help but wonder if Floyd Mayweather's return to the ring is fueled more by dollars than desire. They point to his history of high-earning exhibition fights, the glittering lifestyle he's built, and the way he has always mastered the business side of boxing, suggesting that each comeback isn't just about sport, it's about the next massive payday. The question lingers, is this a fighter chasing glory, or a carefully calculated performance designed to cash in on a legacy already secured? And that tension, between ambition and ambition's price, is what makes watching him step back into the ring feel like more than a fight. It feels like watching a living legend weigh every choice in real time, with the world watching every step.
Gambling problem, of course his situation's unstable. I mean, this is about as predictable as anything I could imagine. Steve, how old is Floyd at this point?
47, and he has not had a real fight since 2015 when he beat Berto. Then he had the foray against Conor McGregor 2017, and he's done some exhibitions. And I don't know if you know this, Jason, but he actually made an official announcement with the press release. I'm unretiring, get this, after my exhibition with Mike Tyson in April.
I heard this, yeah.
So that's in the Congo, Rumble in the Jungle Part 2. But yeah, it's for the money. If you, just Google Floyd's name and the IRS. All the news is out there. He owes jewelers money. There's back paid rent for real estate in New York. It's clear that he is now part of the no money team, which is very ironic. And why is he doing?
Mayweather isn't just preparing for the ring, he's also battling in the courtroom. Reports reveal he's embroiled in a major lawsuit over his financial affairs, taking on former business associates and promotional partners in a fight that could cost hundreds of millions. According to filings, he alleges that his longtime advisor, Ul Heyman, and Showtime Sports were part of a scheme that siphoned off vast sums from him, forcing him to take legal action to recover what he believes is rightfully his. It's a side of Mayweather most fans never see, the strategic, calculating, untouchable businessman using every tool at his disposal. And when you combine that with a return to the ring, it paints a picture of a man not just fighting opponents, but circumstances, proving that sometimes the battles outside the ropes can be just as intense as the ones inside.
A couple of things, if you look at the article on Boxing Scene, something doesn't smell right about it. A couple of things that don't smell right is it's 10 years after the fact. There are an army of attorneys, lawyers, accountants making sure boxers get paid at Floyd's level. And the idea that Floyd could be in a position where he's starting to run out of money and is looking for a reason that this money isn't his anymore. Paulie, what the first thing that jumps out at you about this amount, about the timing, about everything about this lawsuit, what jumps to your mind first, Paulie, when you think about it, as a boxer on the inside?
What jumps to my mind first is probably the beginning is the 10 years later.
Yeah, same.
I'm very curious about, you know, I don't want to say the veracity, because obviously that's the strong word to use in this situation, because this may or may not have.
Meanwhile, Raleigh Romero has jumped into the chatter surrounding the Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch, echoing what many fighters and insiders quietly believe, that Floyd Mayweather is likely to come out on top once again. Romero hasn't faced either legend himself, yet his confidence in Floyd mirrors a broader sentiment, that Mayweather's defensive genius, ring IQ, and sheer experience make him a formidable obstacle, even for a prime Pacquiao, especially at this stage of their careers. That perspective isn't unique to Romero. High-profile figures like Conor McGregor have also tipped Mayweather for another victory in the 2026 showdown. Fans are watching closely, framing it within a story where Mayweather's tactical brilliance and undefeated legacy keep him ahead, even as the fight leans heavily on entertainment, spectacle, and commercial allure. And that's where the tension lies, because when strategy meets showmanship, the outcome can be as unpredictable as the drama surrounding it.
A huge announcement that's come today, official now. Floyd Mayweather returns to the ring against Manny Pacquiao in the rematch. What did you think about that fight?
I don't think anyone was expecting that, was they? Seems like things can happen very quickly.
Was it correct that you were in talks with Manny Pacquiao at one point? How far did they get?
I mean, you didn't see Sean Gibbons then call me out like I don't know how many times, all that stuff, right? It just, it's complicated.
Oscar de la Hoya recently stepped into the conversation around the rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, sharing a prediction that left fans buzzing. Confidently backing Mayweather to take the win, he praised Floyd's unmatched defensive mastery, the uncanny ability to slip punches, dictate the pace, and make even the most powerful strikes seem harmless. But de la Hoya didn't stop there. He also highlighted Mayweather's ring intelligence, the way he reads opponents like an open book, spotting every weakness and exploiting it with surgical precision and perfect timing. It's a reminder that this fight isn't just about strength or stamina, it's about mind over muscle, and when a fighter this calculated steps back into the ring, every second becomes a story.
See, one thing about Mayweather you have to understand is he's always taking care of himself. Like, his body, physically, mentally, he's always been very sharp and always staying in the gym and doing something physically, right? That's the big advantage he has. I mean, he's an athlete. He's a world-class athlete. Watching Pacquiao's last fight, yeah, you kind of feel bad. You kind of feel bad for him, and even though he did win and he did, I guess, pull off a surprise in his last fight with a draw against the world champion, but still, you tend to kind of like feel bad because it's not the same Pacquiao. It's definitely not the same Pacquiao I faced. That's for sure. The one that put me on my stool in the 9th round.
Beyond just skill, De La Hoya pointed to Mayweather's immense experience at the very pinnacle of boxing as a game-changing factor. He's faced the best of the best, seen it all, and adapts flawlessly to whatever comes his way. According to De La Hoya, Pacquiao remains a legendary force, lightning fast, packed with power, and relentless. Yet Floyd's perfect mix of defense, strategy, and veteran instinct makes him the clear favorite once again. It's the kind of matchup where raw talent meets calculated mastery, and the tension isn't just in who lands the punches, but in who can outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast the other when the stakes are sky high.
If they make it a real fight with the real rules, then yeah, it's an okay night for boxing.
Who would you back? Who do you think would win it? If it's a real fight, because that's what Pacquiao wants, it seems.
Yeah, I think Mayweather will. I think Mayweather will.
David Benavidez has always spoken about boxing's biggest moments without sugarcoating a thing. Asked about Pacquiao's return and the growing buzz around a possible rematch with Mayweather, he'd probably tip his hat to Pacquiao's legendary career, while questioning just how much fire he still carries now that time has begun to catch up. Pacquiao is still a hero in the ring, and fans thrill at every punch, every comeback story. But at 47, the raw explosiveness that once defined him isn't the same. Meanwhile, Mayweather's fluid movement, sharp ring IQ, and untarnished record give him an almost insurmountable advantage. And that's the tension fans can't ignore, a legend chasing redemption against a master who's never lost. Which side will history remember this time?
Think about there's reports saying that Floyd may do a professional fight.
What did you say?
There's word that potentially Floyd might come out and do a professional fight.
Oh yeah?
What's your thoughts on it, as a fan?
I mean, as a fan, I feel like I see what they're doing. They see like the influencer just turned it into like, I'm not gonna say a whole circus show, but I feel like they see if these people can come in here and make all this money, then why can't the legends of boxing do that? I feel like they're all the legends of boxing looking at that. And I don't have a problem with them coming back and fighting, but I mean, it's not as exciting as it once was, you know what I mean? I mean, Floyd Mayweather, but who is he gonna fight? I mean, unless he fights Pacquiao again, I would love to see that.
How do you think a Pacquiao-Floyd rematch would go?
I don't know, but I would love to see it. I mean, if Floyd Mayweather is still who he is, I think Floyd Mayweather will win, but I don't know, we have to see. You know, they're both older guys. I think Floyd is 50, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to disrespect in any type of way, but he's a 50-year-old man, you know what I mean? Pacquiao is a 48-year-old man.
Like Benavidez, many boxing analysts argue that, from a purely sporting perspective, there's little reason for a rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. After all, their first fight already produced a definitive winner. Mayweather dominated that night, controlling the pace and walking away with a unanimous decision on all three judges' scorecards, leaving hardly any doubt about who was superior in the ring. Critics also note that, despite the fight's record-breaking commercial success, it lacked the edge-of-your-seat drama fans had hoped for, with Mayweather's defensive brilliance consistently shutting down Pacquiao's offense. Because of that decisive outcome, and considering the age of both fighters now, many commentators feel a second meeting isn't truly necessary for sport itself, even if the payday and global spectacle make it nearly impossible to resist.
One end, the cynical side of me goes, wait, what? Why? They fought the first time, okay? Like that chapter was closed. We got a definitive winner. It was Floyd. Floyd definitively won. The fight wasn't as competitive as we all thought it was. And that's that, right? Even though Manny did say after the fight that he suffered a shoulder injury prior to that, and that he couldn't really use his shoulder too much. But you know, it's a strange time that we're in right now in boxing with some of these fights that we're getting. The reason why I'm a little mixed is, yeah, you know, that's the cynical side of me, but the other side of me is a little bit partial to Manny in terms of what I just listed right there with the shoulder injury. You know, he went into that fight with the biggest pay-per-view of all time, the biggest probably viewing audience of all time in terms of a fight. And that wasn't the best Manny.
Veteran analyst Simon Jordan has been equally clear about the rematch between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, dismissing the notion that it holds real sporting intrigue. He points out that the first fight already delivered a decisive outcome, with Mayweather convincingly winning on every judge's scorecard. Jordan also observes that Pacquiao's recent performances show he's nearing the twilight of his career, while Mayweather has focused mostly on exhibitions rather than meaningful competition. In his view, this event is less about boxing and more about business. Platforms like Netflix treat sport as entertainment, investing in headline attractions to grab subscribers and generate worldwide publicity. With hundreds of millions of users across the globe, even a modest boost in subscriptions can justify a staggering financial outlay. Jordan sums it up: the fight will spark conversation and massive viewing numbers, but commercially rather than competitively, as modern promoters increasingly favor spectacle and audience appeal over pure sporting necessity.
Floyd's unbeaten record and the professional status of the bout add any intrigue to this at all?
No, not really. I don't think so. I mean, Manny Pacquiao's had a fight recently, hasn't he, against Mario Barris, who's just lost his title to Ryan Garcia, deservedly so. And that was a draw in which most people saw Pacquiao at the end of his career, saw what was left of him, and were not too happy that he came back again. Floyd Mayweather has had a variety of different bouts. I mean, I hear that he's going to fight Mike Tyson. I don't understand what that thinking is. Or an exhibition. We've seen him fight and hold up Conor McGregor in an exhibition fight. It's Netflix building entertainment models around sport. Sport is entertainment. It crosses over. Netflix have got a proven model of success that ultimately they invest some money into these sort of things, whether it's Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson or Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. They'll look at their lifetime value of their average subscriber, not every subscriber, but their average subscriber, and then they multiply it by the amount of subscribers they think they're going to get as new ones, and they make a commercial decision.
Pacquiao recently shared his thoughts on all the buzz surrounding Floyd Mayweather's exhibition with Mike Tyson, as well as the highly anticipated rematch with Mayweather later this year. He acknowledged what everyone already knows: Tyson is an incredible puncher, a force in the ring that commands respect from any fighter. But when the conversation turned to Mayweather, Pacquiao's tone shifted from cautious to confident. He stressed that this isn't an exhibition, this is a real fight, one where he's focused on making history and aiming to hand Mayweather his first professional loss. Even while recognizing Tyson's knockout power, Pacquiao's eyes remain locked on Floyd, trusting that his own experience, preparation, and relentless dedication will give him the edge in a long-awaited rematch that promises drama, skill, and stakes higher than ever.
Who will win, Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather?
It depends. If Mike Tyson will train hard, then...
Do you think it will happen?
Just one punch.
We thought you were fighting Floyd. What happened with the Floyd fight? We thought you were fighting Floyd. What happened in the rematch? We thought you were having a rematch with Floyd.
Oh, just we'll see. We'll announce that.
So, what do you think? Can Pacquiao pull off the ultimate upset, or is Mayweather's legendary defense simply too strong to crack? The ring will decide, but the debate is already heating up. Drop your predictions in the comments below, because this isn't just a fight, it's a story the world is waiting to see unfold.